Hi, welcome to So Good the Podcast. I'm KD. Let's get the show started. Show brought to you by the Local Greatness. I'm outside still in the DMV area. Um, we got some snow over the other day and still somewhat on the vehicles, still on this vehicle, but it's not too bad. The ice somewhat melting in some places, but for the most part, it's still out here and exists. So, you all be careful and drive safely. But I have a few times I like to bring to you all's attention, no particular order. Jack Moran, it's a 6'4", 235 quarterback. It's a pocket passer. Class of 2025, high school, Hun School of Princeton, from the city of Princeton, New Jersey. He committed to Charlotte 49ers. This was 6/20/2024. A little background brief for him. He broke and shot a lot of records in high school, but his last game in high school, he passed for 524 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's a sure passer. He goes through his progressions. He works well in the pocket. He's not a statue in the pocket. He's somewhat mobile, but for the most part, he throws the football down the field. And it's been quite a while since I've seen a quarterback of this magnitude that's a sure passer that loves to pass the football. And he's a student of the game and has a very high IQ for the game. This talent here in the very near future would definitely going to be something to be reckoned with in the very near future. You all give him a chance and an opportunity to, your ears and eyes, because this is a talent that you don't want to miss. Next on my radar is Drew Allar, if I pronounce that correctly. Quarterback, 6'5", 236 quarterback, high school, Medina, high school class. He's a junior. He plays for Penn State right now. It's rumored that, if he decided to declare for the NFL draft, a lot of NFL GMs and franchises would definitely look at him as a first-round talent. He has first-round talent. Each year so far in his collegiate level, he's progressed every year. Just this past season, 2024, he had 3,192 yards passing with 24 touchdowns, 7 INTs, quarterback rated 78.1. That which was ranked at 15th. He had 67.4 completion percentage. The year before, 2023 stats, he had 2,631 yards passing, 25 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions in that year. So each year he progressed. The touchdown is there. His playmaking ability is there. It wouldn't surprise me with this year, 2025 draft, NFL draft, from the quarterback position, respectfully, it's not as high sought after compared to the previous year that just passed with Jane Dames and Khalid Williams and that Drake Mays and so on respectfully. If he did declare, he would be one of the ones that's coming out this year. But his talent for Penn State really haven't been that talent from that position as of late. He could be the first. There's always one, right? And I feel sure that he is the one from that university, Penn State, to come out to, solidify himself in the NFL on that next level. Drew is definitely a baller. He's a playmaker. He stands tall. He moves well in the pocket. He goes through his progressions. He's a student of the game. He loves the game. Teammates love him as well. He's just going to get better. He's going to continue to get better. 3,000 yards in college football, it's not bad. I know as of late, these young men, young talent, are definitely breaking records, right? But he's been progressing every year, and he's only going to get better. If he tends to declare, wouldn't shock me if he go in the first round, someone taking a chance with him with his skill set and or talent, but it's going to take the right coaching and scheme for him to blossom into what I see that he can possibly become. Give him eyes and ears, opportunity. Check that talent out. He's very talented. Now this one here is a young man, young talent that actually leaving just high school again. I believe it's pronounced Colby, Cronk. I will put his proper name in the description if I pronounce that incorrectly. Forgive me for that one. But he's a 6'3", 260 edge rusher, class of 2025, high school, Flagler, Palm Coast. That's what city, Palm Coast, Florida. He committed to NC State. Background on him: in 34 games, he played and recorded 201 solo tackles, 283 total tackles, one-on-one tackles for losses, and 50 sacks. He also scored 8 touchdowns. He was also named Male Athlete of the Year at the Flagler Palm Coast High School. He's something to be reckoned with. NC State is definitely known for defensive university. Somewhat had offense over the last few years, but mostly they relatively, for me, was known for defense. This talent here is going to help this program. He committed to NC State because I see what he possibly can see, the possibility of him becoming the best player he can, and they're going to emphasize him in the scheme and allow him to be who he is. He's a disruptor. He edge rusher. He seals the edge against the run. He's aggressive. He's very passionate about the game as well. But this talent here, he got the typical prototype body for a defensive end. 6'3", 260. He can hold his own when it comes to the game. This name definitely will be called in the very near future, and you're going to be seeing some highlights of him in the very near future. Give him an opportunity with your eyes and ears. I'm sure he appreciate it. In a different industry, the NBA, just somewhat, I'm going to talk about the NBA, what's happening, but for you all, most should known and or heard about what's transpiring in LA with the wildfires and that nature. So the NBA postponed tonight's game, the Hornets against the Lakers, due to the Los Angeles wildfires. Coach JJ Redick's home reported loss. My thoughts and prayers goes out to everyone that's dealing with this tragedy right now, that also losing property and loved ones, friends, and families. My thoughts and prayers goes out to everyone, and surely everything will be all right. Just gotta deal with this unfortunate, unseenable fortune that just transpired right now and that's taking place in LA. So that game is postponed. But I would like to highlight, which I've done several episodes ago, that the Cavaliers, at that time when I spoke about them, they was like on a winning streak, undefeated at that time. And the stats that I read out to you all, that they was the best shooting team in the NBA. And it seemed as though, I know from the game, Boston is pretty good from the three-point percentage. Now, this is on the East, Boston is one of the best, and not the best three-point shooting teams. But Cavaliers this year has been shooting out of their mind. Probably record-breaking history being made by them. It's thrown out there that they can possibly win the NBA championship this year. The way the NBA is going, it wouldn't be surprising to me. It wouldn't be surprising because the camaraderie and what happened to them last year. They had a lot of injuries, especially to their superstar Mitchell and a few others. Respectfully, didn't play in the playoff in that round, and they lost. This year, they got a chip on the shoulder. It's obviously showing, but they've been together. The coaching staff, the organization, they believe in one another, and it's showcasing. And the off season work ethic, the training is actually showcasing, and they're relatively healthy right now. And with the NBA, what's transpiring has been more fights as of late, not physically, a lot of shoving and nature and that. The NBA is kind of like people watching it for whatever the reasons are, but the views and the integrity of the game, people are feeling some type of way about it. But the Cavaliers are showcasing that true basketball teams, true caring about teammates and one another, the winning mentality and attitude is showing on the basketball court. It's going to be a lot of trades coming up in the very near future. But, yeah, I wanted to highlight that Cavaliers could definitely win the NBA title. It's going to be very difficult, but outside of Boston on the East, Milwaukee's kind of playing better this year. Miami always going to be around. They're having feud with Jimmy Butler and suspending him and him saying he want to get out of there, so forth and so on. It's a lot that's happening this year. And, of course, with the Lakers, they did that trade too. So the Lakers are reloading their roster. They try to do a push. So as of right now, the Cavaliers are the favorites to win it this year. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'm going to the NFL, my NFL primetime games. Before I get to the games, I was going to talk about Belichick a few episodes ago. Most people should know who he is. Bill Belichick, NFL head coach of the at that time the New England Patriots, the best head coach of all time in the NFL, National Football League, and Bill Belichick decided to go to the college level. Not only that, he brought along his son to to play parts in that, just in case he decides to step down and or take an offer to go back to the NFL. But what's going on around the league, or words around the league, is Belichick returning to the NFL, possibly going to the Raiders, because Tom Brady is there, and they just fired their GM. The Raiders did. So they fired their head coach, they fired their GM, so they're looking to clean house. So they're looking for that leader in that position as head coach that can actually help them run the organization. Why not? Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is like this together, right? It makes logical sense. But would he take that offer? So the North Carolina GM, Michael Lombardi, doing an appearance on the Pat show. That was today too. Pat McAfee, if I said this correctly, show on Thursday, firmly stated that Belichick is all in on the Tar Heels, completely committed, 1,000% committed. I know for Coach Belichick and myself, Lombardi said, guys that do the inside stuff for the NFL, they've got to post stories out there, but that one was a completely falsehood. People write stories, man, just to get clicks and baits and views. Respectfully, that's just the nature of the business. But Bill Belichick been in North Carolina. Some people believe they won't believe it until they see him on the sideline in the very first game. Is there chances that he can decide to change his mind and or decision? Yes. He's done it in the past. But if he decides to stay and turn our organization, that university around, he can definitely do it. Recruiting is not going to be difficult for Bill Belichick. The young talent would definitely love to be guided and to be mentored by him, because the best in my eyes coach, and to learn from them. Yes, some people say Tom Brady played parts in that. Of course he did. It's all components to winning the national football, to win the championship, Super Bowl in the NFL. It's very difficult. It takes everyone in that building, unlike other sports, respectfully. But if Bill Belichick decides to stay in North Carolina, that university is going to get back to one of the best in college football. If he decided to go back to the NFL, won't surprise me if he decided to take an offer, that organization would be ran properly as well, because they would hire the right people to get the job done. But for my NFL primetime games this week seemed like, for the first week in the playoffs, it seemed like I think there's going to be some upsets this week. There's going to be a lot of people that have favorites going into these games in this first round of the playoffs. But the games on my radar, that's going to be a relatively good game, and could definitely be a shocker and an upset if they don't come to play. Broncos, which is 10-7, the end of the season at 10-7 at Buffalo Bills, which they finished the season 13-4. That game is Sunday at 1 p.m. Josh Allen has a lot to prove. As far as the MVP conversations, he's definitely always been in the conversation over the last few years. But he has a lot to prove as far as his performance in the playoffs. This year, a little different. Diggs did not play on this team. They traded him, and he still showed out his talent and showing the league that he's one of the best, not only quarterback, but player in the National Football League. And it showed this year. They got a solid defense, been like that for a few years now. But it's not going to be a tough task. It will be a tough task for the Buffalo Bills, depending on the weather, of course, around this time. They playing the Broncos, one of the best defensive teams in the league. Bo Nix is playing some good football, even though he's a rookie. He's not really showing it as of late, or much of lately. The Broncos is a sneaky team. If Josh Allen starts to be Josh Allen, it's just going to be lights out for the Broncos. But that defense is, I don't think they will allow Josh Allen to go off for like 6 touchdowns in one game. This is going to be a good game. Bo Nix definitely could play in the cold weather. Even if it's inclement weather, he could definitely perform there. Sean Payton getting that Broncos team ready. Broncos could definitely run the football. I just think it's going to be tough for the Buffalo Bills to run the football this game. So it's going to take Josh Allen to perform, 3 to 5 touchdowns in this game for them to have a chance to win against this Broncos stingy defense at home. The Buffalo Bills, for most people, is the favorite in this game. Buffalo Bills should win this game. I was going to lean towards the Broncos, but it's a tall task for Bo Nix and that offense to win in Buffalo away. It's going to be very tough to win. I just think the Buffalo Bills would do enough to win that game at home against the Broncos. I can see this game, if the weather's bad, definitely under 50 points. They're just two good defensive teams. I can see easily 50 points in that game. Next on my radar, I want to stay in the AFC. You got the Steelers that finished the season at 10-7 at the Ravens, which finished 12-5. That game is Saturday. That's at 8 p.m. Once again, the quarterback that has a lot to prove outside of regular season stats, Lamar Jackson. They're still going around if he's a clear-cut favorite to win MVP. Let's wait to see. He has a lot to prove as well. This team is actually performing relatively well. The Ravens, as of late, they started off kind of off, 0-2 or something like that. Maybe I don't think they went 0-3, but I think they was 0-2 earlier in the year, and they went on a nice winning streak. So you got Derrick Henry, Lamar, and the offense. Flowers is playing some of the best football this year for him and that organization. Respectfully, he's probably the best receiver performance in 1 year for the Ravens in a long time, possibly history, to be just thinking off top. Zay Flowers. So congrats to him and solidifying his position in that organization and that team. But this is a good game, division game, very difficult outcome. What can happen? Ravens known to be a defensive team. As of late, they got a little better, but this is not the stingy Ravens as of old. The Steelers is one of the best defensive teams in the league. It's going to come down to Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. Who's going to make the least mistakes in this game? Russell Wilson is a savvy vet. Lamar, he's a vet as well. One has Super Bowls, the other one does not. Mike Tomlin against one of the Harbaugh brothers. This is a good game. It's a good game. They got this on Saturday. One of the games on Saturday. This one here. I want to lean towards the Steelers because that defense is stingy. I just don't see Russell Wilson doing enough in this defense. Pickett for that Steelers offense been a little inconsistent, a little frustrated. Been showcasing on the sideline and on the field. For the Steelers to win, they would have to have a game plan that's involving Justin Fields, like gimmick plays and things of that nature, because Russell Wilson is somewhat a statue. The Ravens will put enough pressure on him and force him to do a lot of turnovers. So the Steelers going to have one hell of a game plan. The Ravens will come to this game running the football with Henry and Lamar. On occasion, Lamar running design runs. But for the most part, they're going to have to stop Henry. Steelers could contain Henry, but containing him and Lamar is going to be a very, very tough task. The weather might be a factor this weekend as well. Like I said, I was leaning for the Steelers possibly winning this game, but the game plan got to be stellar. They got to hit on all cylinders for Steelers to win on offense to win this game. I'm going to pick the Ravens. Lamar, I just think he's going to do well enough to continue the conversation of him being the MVP and stand in the playoffs. Because if he don't win this game, it's not looking too good for his resume. He's a hell of a stellar player, Lamar Jackson. Just think it's going to be a tall task for the Steelers to win this game at Ravens. So I see Ravens win this game as well. I could definitely see this game being low scoring game, possession type football from both. They both run the football, try to move the chain. They're going to waste a lot of clock. So I can see 50 points in low for this game as well. But with a win for the Ravens, take care of home business. This one here, the Vikings at the Rams. The Vikings in the regular season finished 14-3. The Rams 10-7. That game is Monday night. That's at 8 p.m. Like I said, they trying to decide if that game's going to be in LA with the fire, and like I said, my thoughts and prayers goes out to them. But this game here, I saw something. It might be somewhere in Arizona if they decide to relocate the game. This is a nice game. This one should be a high-scoring game, even though the Vikings has a very unique defense, the way they blitz and disguise it. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. But the Rams are a savvy team, organization. Sean McVay and Stafford and the crew, Cup and them. You got Herndon. You got the running back. You got Packer. You got a lot of players for the Rams, and that Rams defense young, but they're very energetic and very aggressive with verse. They put pressure on the quarterback too. Sam Darnold can move a little bit. They got a tall task stopping Jefferson. For the Vikings and our offense, Addison, and it's going to be a good game. This should be a high-scoring game. I've been with the Rams as of late, relatively towards the end of the regular season, because they've been more healthier than the teams they played against, and they relatively healthy in this one too. If they relatively healthy on the offensive side, they definitely, it's going to be difficult to stop. They disguise great game plan. Sean McVay been there and done that type of guy attitude. Vikings relatively surprised a lot of teams with their performance this year, 14-3. I have the Vikings. The Rams in this game. Yeah, Sam Darnold's playing out of his mind. They've been talking negotiation to re-sign him, as they should, and allow J.J. McCarthy to fully gain his health from injuries. That Vikings team is definitely one of the best in the league right now. But the Rams, I think they're well polished, well organized, and they love the game. Their game plan relatively good. Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the league. Definitely one of the best younger ones, but overall one of the best coaches in the league. I like O'Connell for the Vikings. He's one of the best too as well. This is going to be a good game. Should be a high-scoring game, definitely over 50 points, but I just got the Rams just winning this game, regardless of where they relocate the game to. Rams has definitely been there, done that. I think it would be a little. The Vikings got to have a stellar game, a stellar performance. Sam Darnold will have to outperform Stafford. I just don't see that. Not in this type of atmosphere with the experience. I just see the Rams winning this game, a high-scoring game over 50 points. Last but not least, you got the Commanders at the Buccaneers. The Commanders in regular season finished 12-5, the best since 1991. Buccaneers finished 10-7 in the regular season. This game is Sunday at 8 p.m. Buccaneers relatively somewhat have an injury, a few players here and there, like most people. But the starter and the secondary one got in an accident. My thoughts and prayers goes out to him. For the Buccaneers, Evans just broke the record for the Buccaneers, the wide receiver to have 1,000 yards, 11 straight seasons. He ties that with Jerry Rice. Congrats to Evans. You got Irvin, the rookie running back, is playing some amazing football. You got to watch him. Irvin can definitely wreck the game for the Buccaneers going against anybody. Buccaneers are a running team, and the Buccaneers also stop the run. But the problem is with the Buccaneers, they're secondary. They give up a lot of points in the air, in the passing game. That's been like that. Todd Bowles, that's just been like that since he's been around. They were the defensive front and the linebackers corps. They pride themselves on stopping the run. The Buccaneers do, and the Commanders like running the football with all the running backs, including adding Jaden Daniels. Some design runs, but most of his runs be coming off script. when the play breaks down, he gets out of it, and that's when he's the most dangerous. For the Commanders, though, they have an advantage. I'm saying that to say this: they played the Buccaneers to start the season, and Baker Mayfield was like, he played the best football I've ever seen Baker Mayfield play. And I've watched a lot of football. Baker Mayfield in that home opener against the Commanders on their home turf, Baker Mayfield was playing like Brady Vick. He was throwing and running, and he was breaking tackles. He had the best game I've seen him play, throwing in the air and running. That Buccaneers team is different than the Buccaneers team as of now going into the playoffs. That Commanders team in the first week is the totally different team right now. The Commanders are relatively more healthier than the Buccaneers, so that's an advantage for the Commanders. Jay Daniels definitely got a whole lot more games under his belt, have a whole lot more experience, and Jay Daniels is not that first week player right now. So the advantage is the Commanders. The Commanders, the way that they would lose this game, which they haven't been consistent throughout a whole game, a full 60 minutes of stopping the run. Urban can wreck this game. But the key and/or X factor in this game to help the Commanders to contain and/or stop the run against the Buccaneers, Marshawn Lattimore would definitely help. Why he would help? Because he's a lockdown corner in my eyes. You can have him take a player out of the game or attempt to take a player out of the game or half the field when he's playing and when he's healthy. So far in practice, during practice, he's been checking all the boxes as far as leading up to him possibly playing. But him playing, going against Mike Evans, his old division rival, is probably one of the best matchups throughout the NFL seasons, probably over the last 5 or 6 years, as far as going corner versus wide receiver. If you have Marshawn Lattimore, you can have him follow Mike Evans. That can help the Commanders bring another secondary player into the box to stop the run and force Baker Mayfield to beat you thrown in the air. Can Baker do? Yes, he's shown that in the first game. But like I said, this defense is different. They have film on each other, what they like to do in a game atmosphere. Buccaneers is relatively somewhat hurt on offense. That's another advantage to the Commanders. I just think right now it's going to be tough because the Buccaneers are at home. I just think right now the Commanders are more healthier right now. Will definitely put a great game plan together to stop Baker Mayfield and Evans in that running game. Todd Bowles is not going to he's not going to go lightly against Jay Daniels, and he's going to continue to blitz. That's what he does. And they was up in the first game, and they were still blitzing a lot. So they're going to try to confuse Jay Daniels. They're going to put a game plan together to stop him as well. And that offense, Terry McLaurin's going to definitely have to step up. That offense is going to definitely have to step up. The vets, everyone all in, going to have to step up to pull this win out against the Buccaneers on their home turf. The Commanders should definitely do this because they're more healthier. Jay Daniels is, as of right now, not playing like a rookie. He's playing like a vet. Got a good feel of the game. He does what's asked of him and more. The teammates are looking for him to lead. Been leading up to this point. Leader of men. He's been showcasing this. Brian Robinson will have to run the football better. In this game, if Brian Robinson is not running the ball as he once did early in the season, you got to bring Allar in, of course. Ackler's relatively healthier. He's going to play more. But what I mean is Rodriguez, McNichols, those running back, you're going to have to do it by committee. Because like I said, the Buccaneers is a run-stingy defense, and you're going to have to use all of your players in that position to run the back to see who gets a good feel of the game and to help move the chains. in this game. That's what it's going to take. Who's going to get the most first downs? Because the Commanders is one of the best. Actually, they are the best team on fourth downs, converting on fourth down. I see the Commanders going for it a lot of times in this game, because it's going to be a lot of 4th and 2s and 4th and 3s going against the Buccaneers in this game. It's going to be a good game. Should be a high-scoring game, over 50 points. The Commanders would do enough to win this game against the Buccaneers. It's going to be a good game. I just think the defense, for them to win this game, the Commanders, is going to take the defense to stopping or containing Baker Mayfield and the crew over there. And that's what's going to happen. And congrats to Terry McLaurin and Jay Daniels, quarterback and receiver duo, to make it to the playoffs. I'm sorry, that too, but make it to the Pro Bowl to represent the Commanders and the NFC this year. Let me see if I have anything else I would like to talk about that I have missed or possibly missed. I don't think so. Just enjoy these games. Stay warm. Surely appreciate everyone continues to support this platform. I thank the guest last week to coming on the show. Thank him for that. And also, to continue to support or want to support this platform, there's a link in the bio that you can purchase a product, and or service. But I surely appreciate everyone that's just watching. I appreciate you as well that's not supporting in that facet. But check the merch out. Surely appreciate it. If anything that you do, surely appreciate it. But I'm out here, definitely gonna stay warm. Gonna do a few more runs on errands and get out of this cold. If you are traveling and in this cold, be careful. Black ice. Stay warm. But enjoy this weekend, and look after one another. I surely appreciate it. The So Good Podcast. I'm KD. It's brought to you by The Look of Greatness. Have a good one.